with your forecast for the week of February 26, 2023. Last week in February, first week in March. Hey, you know what you want to do if you're at all interested in astrological prediction is you want to check out my course in Synchronicity University, Nadia Shaw's school, and the information is below. You might want to check that out and see what's going on. It's interesting, and if you sign up right away, I think you get to choose your own tuition level. I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds good to me. So you might want to do that. Okay, let's talk about this week of February 26th. It's going to turn into March in the middle of the week, and it is, wow, it's March already. I guess we'll do a March forecast. There's also going to be a Saturn in Pisces forecast coming out this week. Whew, lots of stuff. Okay, let's talk about this week, though. It's a very Venusian week. Venus is the planet of the week. That's the planet that is going to get the most activity this particular week. All right, Mercury goes into Pisces on Thursday. We'll talk about that a little bit too. But Venus is the one that is really busy. Now, the moon is waxing, right? We're waxing out of the new moon, and we're going to start with the first quarter moon on Sunday. The first quarter moon is in Gemini, and this is get out there and socialize, communicate, share your ideas. This is the vibe for the beginning of the week, and all this Venusian activity is helping that along. This is really about opening up and communicating for most of the week. This is kind of what would be going on. Now, Venus, let's get the list over here. Let's look at the list. Venus will go on March 1st, which is, well, actually on February 27th, which is Monday, Venus will meet with Vesta. Venus Vesta meetings in Aries. That's the sign of Aries. It's like a V, right? And I've doubled it up. Venus and Vesta, wow, those two V's in Aries, I would call it a synchronicity, but it's just silliness is what it is. Well, synchronicities can be silly, I suppose. Anyway, Venus is what we want, what we desire, where our sense of aesthetics are. Vesta, very complex asteroid, has a lot to do with the sign of Virgo, where we remain, let's say, whole, and where we remain, it's that untouchable bit of ourselves. It has a lot to do with sexuality as well. And in the sign of Aries, Venus conjunct Vesta, it sounds to me like the early part of the week with the moon in Gemini, no less, the waxing moon in Gemini, that could be a hot time for some folks. Good luck for you guys. Then Venus goes on Wednesday to square Pallas Athene. This is the truth teller asteroid. And so whatever has happened when Venus met Vesta, we're going to get an accurate assessment of it as Venus squares Pallas Athene. Now, Pallas Athene is in the sign of Cancer, where there's a certain amount of protectiveness and a little bit of clannishness and a little bit of tradition that this Venus Vesta in Aries energy might be in contrast with. So likely some of this, if there's any discussion about things, if there's any judgment about things, it's coming from within. It's coming from within. Depends who you talk to, but you might pick up on a raised eyebrow that somebody, they may just have an itch or something like that. And so you might see that as being the issue. The moon does go into Cancer at midweek. It's a protective vibe again. I'm going to say that about Cancer. It's protective. Well, is that the first thing to say about Cancer? Wouldn't you normally say that Cancer is nurturing? Cancer is nurturing. Why is Cancer so protective these days? Why am I emphasizing that? Because the last thing that the moon is going to do is going to be to oppose Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto's at 29 and change of Capricorn. He's just about to step outside. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that the moon is going to, well, when Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn, the moon will oppose Pluto again from Cancer to Capricorn. But I think this is the last time before he enters Aquarius, right? So there's really this sense, no matter how you slice it, we're talking about since 2007 or so, right? We're talking about a long period of time of the moon opposing Pluto, and we're getting like the final results. Not great for your sense of security. Not great for your sense of security. Pluto opposite at the very end of Capricorn. We'll be having the video coming out sometime in mid-March about Pluto going into Aquarius. But for right now, let's say with Pluto at the very end of Capricorn, we can feel the trembling of the institutional structures. Some of them you're okay with them falling, I know. But you know what? It's not an easy process, no matter how you feel about it. And we feel that trembling. And then here we are, the Cancer moon is saying, I just want security. And Pluto says, but everything is tumbling down. So it's not the easiest kind of thing. You know what's easy, though, is that on Wednesday, Venus meets with Jupiter. Wednesday, this color's Wednesday and Thursday, and this will help to bring out the better side of the Cancerian impulses. Now, in hot, fiery Aries, Venus and Jupiter are definitely encouraging us to get out and party, try something new, do something different. It is really, I mean, it's a very sexual kind of energy between Vesta and Jupiter and Venus all getting together in Aries. There is a real sexual charge to this week, Cancer moon or not, never mind all this traditional stuff and all that. There really is a real charge to this. It's a real exciting kind of energy. So by all means, we could see that expression of things. But if if it's a little bit, if that's not what's going on for you, it's a great time to get out and socialize. It'd be a great time to play a game. Well, if you're into tennis or something like that, I'm not. But if you are, great time for a game of tennis or checkers or whatever that thing is that you like to play. A little bit of competition. Friendly competition is the watchword for the middle of the week. It's not really like a kind of, go crazy sort of energy when it comes to partying. You can have a nice party, though. It'll be okay. Moving along, the sun will trine at the same time. The sun trines Pallas Athene, opening things up. And then on March 2nd, well, it's Thursday, but it's really kind of going to be in effect a little bit beforehand as well. Hopefully it will get lost in the fun feel of Jupiter and Venus. But Mercury is going to meet with Saturn at the very last degree of Aquarius. This is getting a real serious talk, right? This is going to authority and getting a serious talk. Not Pluto. When Mercury meets Pluto, you're speaking the truth to power. Here, you're liable to be hearing from it, okay? In Aquarius, I think what we're going to see is a certain amount of peer group pressure. Now, Mercury loves being in Aquarius, and Mercury at the last degree of Aquarius is really ready to shout his truth. Saturn at the last degree of Aquarius is saying, well, you got something to say, go ahead and say it. Collectively, this is a time when we're going to see stuff come out. We're going to see people, well, stuff always comes out. What the hell kind of thing is that to say? We're going to see this kind of, decisive social justice, this is what we stand for kind of thing coming out. Again, the protectiveness of the Cancer moon is going to color this, is going to sort of, there's going to be, depending upon who's speaking their truth, there's going to be either a lot of reaction to it. Cancer doesn't really love the Aquarian energy. You got to kind of work with it a little bit. Cancer says, we know what's good. It could be anything, I mean, it could be anything. The Cancerian energy says what we already got is good. The Aquarian energy says, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. I'll tell you how we have to make things better. I'll tell you how we have to make things more fair. It's a little contrast. There's a big contrast going on over here. And we'll feel that rumbling through the collective. We'll see that as well. So yeah, midweek, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Good start to the week, mixed bag at midweek. And then we get to the end of the week. What happens at the end of the week? The moon is in Leo. The waxing moon is in Leo. And that's a nice time. It should make for a fun Friday and Saturday night. There's not a lot of real contrast going on. All right, the moon will oppose Saturn as its last aspect. So, you don't want to push things too far, I suppose. You want to keep your peer group in mind. But I would say that you don't, this whole thing with the alarms going off, people, not the alarm, it's not an alarm. That's what Cancer Moon would do to you. It makes you think everything's an alarm, but it's not. It's my phone. You knew that. The thing about the Leo moon opposing Saturn again is a little bit of the peer group looking at you. The Leo moon is ready to sort of be the star of the show. Saturn in Aquarius is saying, well, you are meeting with our approval, aren't you? You're not going to say or do anything that doesn't meet with our approval. You may not, take it the way you want to. Just kind of keep that in mind. All right. It is also true that Venus will meet with Chiron, not much of a Chironite, Chironical. Venus will meet with Chiron on Friday, and that could be another little sense of reckoning within the idea of little sense of reckoning within our relationships and what we want. But it's not really a really challenging kind of energy, and I'm sure we're going to get through it with the help of the Leo moon. Watch out for the Saturn video. Watch out maybe for a March forecast coming out. Watch out. You know what you want to do? You want to subscribe.